Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today at our webinar organized by Montpellier Business School Social and Sustainable Finance Chair. So welcome, everyone. And today we have the pleasure to have three guest speakers who are Van Huang, Philippe Guichandieu, and Sébastien Duchesne, who will be teaching in this MSc. I suggest to proceed in the three following steps. First, I will present briefly the program, the Master of Science in Sustainable and Inclusive Finance. Then we will have the professors who are present here who will share information about their courses and about the employment opportunities following these courses. And then if there are any questions, we can have some part of the meeting dedicated to the questions. So this is the panel of the participants today. Unfortunately, Olivia could not join. But we have Van Huang, who is professor at Montpellier Business School. We have Philippe Guichandieu, who is head of inclusive finance development at the Grameen Foundation Crédit Agricole, and Sébastien, who is professor at Montpellier University. You will have some more time to present yourself and also go into details of your experiences. So also a few words about myself. So I'm Professor Anastasia Kozarenko. I defended my PhD at Aix-Marseille School of Economics. I also did a postdoc in the University Libre de Bruxelles. And today my main research and teaching focus is on social finance and microfinance. I do both quantitative and theoretical modeling, and I'm also the member of the European Microfinance Network, the research committee, which has been created many years ago by Philippe. I think he will share a few words about this with us later on. This new program is starting in September 2022. And it has been very recently accredited by the CGE, the French accreditation, which is the Conférence des Grandes Écoles. It's offered by the Social and Sustainable Finance Chair. Maybe a few words about the chair, because I think it's interesting to see the links that this chair can bring to the MSc with the field, with the practitioner world. So we have two big banks who are today partners of the chair, which is the regional savings bank, Caisse d'Épargne Languedoc-Roussillon, but also the BNP Paribas. So we will have representatives from these partners who will teach in the MSc, and also who will provide networking opportunities, internships, first jobs opportunity with them. And we have many other partners who provide networking opportunities. The MSc is also sponsored by the Yunus Center for Social Business and Financial Inclusion, and I'm also the head of this center. So it's a center which was created in October 2019 at Montpellier Business School in the presence of Professor Yunus, the Nobel Prize, the Peace Nobel Prize. And its purpose is to provide students with pedagogical projects mainly on the topics of social business and financial inclusion, of course. The creation of this MSc is also in line with the more general Montpellier Business School strategic plan, which targets to have more programs and more courses in line with sustainability, with corporate and social responsibility. So the creation of this MSc is in line with this, it fits this general strategic plan, but also the mission of Montpellier Business School, which is to train managers who have this global responsibility in mind, which goes beyond the financial performance, which also includes social performance, environmental performance of the companies. So a few words about the organization of the program. So there are two different paths which a student can choose to integrate the MSc. Any student can integrate it in a 2-year program. In that case, the students are not required to have any particular background in finance or management, business, economics, because the purpose of the 2-year program is in the first year to introduce the students to these general topics in business, entrepreneurship, finance, economics. So in this first year, there will be these general courses, a professional experience, which is optional. There will be French language courses to those students who will need that. There are some seminars, meetings, and workshops on the topics which are covered by this first year MSc. And on the other hand, if students have already some background in economics, management, or finance, they can integrate the program directly in the second year. And this is exactly where we will have the specialization courses. And this is where Philippe Van and Sebastian will teach in the second year. So this is where we have the specialized courses, the professional experience, which is mandatory, and of course the MSc will facilitate this opportunity to have the professional experience. There is a master thesis, which is defended by December of the third year, and of course seminars, meetings, similar to the first year program. So any student can, according to his or her background, integrate the program either in 1 year or 2 years. Maybe something else which is worth saying here is that courses they're taking place on campus. Some of them are on the field. I will explain this on the next slide. But most of the courses are also taught via the hybrid way. So in case students are not based in Montpellier, they can still follow the courses in the hybrid mode. And at Montpellier Business School, we have the habit to work under this format because as we all know, the COVID crisis, and we are well equipped and trained to do that. So all the courses are also proposed in this hybrid mode. So there is, you might ask yourself what's particular or unique about this program. And I would say that it's really the fact that the program is organized in such a way that it's learning by doing. It's really a very applied program. The purpose here is to make sure that the students go beyond the classroom and beyond just the theoretical courses taught by academics. So this is why we have both academic and practitioner-oriented faculty, and even the academic faculty have very strong links with the companies. And this will be done during the course with real examples, with real case studies, but also through field visits. And at this point, there are 2 different field visits which are planned. The first one will be with the European Investment Bank in Luxembourg, which should take place around December or January, December 2022 or January 2023. And this field visit is takes place within the European Investment Bank Institute lecture series. So the Institute will offer a lecture of 15 hours, more or less, which will take half of them place on campus at Montpellier Business School and half of them in the European Investment Bank directly in Luxembourg. So it's a great opportunity for students for networking and also to get better, to know better the activities of the European institutions in terms of sustainability, sustainable finance, and other social projects that they are working on. The second field visit will be within a company in renewable energy. It's planned to be in France. and it will be organized by Benoit Forgue within his course on financing energy and climate transition. So basically, the idea of this Master of Science is to make sure that the students develop and apply sustainable and inclusive finance solutions, both in private and public markets. So Philippe will develop more on what's inclusive finance. Van and Sebastian will talk more about sustainable finance. Also, students will drive the new trends in banking, because we will have general courses on banking, but also courses on alternative banking, like for instance, social banking, which I will be teaching, and cooperative banking. We will also discuss this kind of models. We will see how banks work to achieve the sustainable development goals. Students will also manage the societal and environmental issues and generate a positive impact for responsible investments and financing. And as mentioned before, the idea is really to act through immersive and experiential learning through field visits and real world examples. So I think it's time to give the floor to our guest speakers. So I suggest that each of you covers three different aspects. So a short presentation by yourself. All of you have your bio on the slides. So first, if you can say a few words about yourself, then a few words about the course, and then about the employment opportunities which students will have to the possibility to get after following your course. So we can start with Philippe. We can't hear you, Philippe. We can't hear you, Philippe.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, now it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I just forgot to open the microphone, you know. I'm Philippe Guichandu. I'm currently the head of inclusive finance development at the Foundation Grameen Crédit Agricole. My past experience is mainly in working a lot with international NGOs in development work, based in Asia and Africa for a while, and then I was working in France, and then I was the first CEO of the European Microfinance Network, which is a network gathering all the actors that are providing microfinance services in Europe. So in France, I don't know if you know them, but there is ADI, l'Association pour le droit à l'initiative économique, Créasol in the south. But I mean, there are lots of different actors in Europe, even though microfinance is more perceived as something that is dealing in emerging countries. And so I was the first CEO there, and then I joined the foundation. We are mainly investing, meaning to say provide equity and guarantees to right now we are investing around 80, a little bit more than 80 enterprises in the world, mainly in Africa, Central Asia, Middle East, and Europe. And so it's a joint venture between the Crédit Agricole, I mean, I don't have to present it to you, and the Grameen Trust. I mean, they received with the Professor Mohamed Yunus, it was mentioned by Anastasia, the Peace Nobel Prize in 2006. I think that what is important to see is that, I mean, financial inclusion remain a big issues. That we estimate in the world there is a little bit more than 1.2 billion, of people that have no access to directly financial services. It's also an issue a little bit less, but of course in our countries. So there is more and more concern to try to see how we could solve this aspect. And so that's why there's a lot of actors in the world that are providing this type of services to reach the unbanked people. It's a sector that is quite interesting because, I mean, we are trying also to not only with the issues of access to finance, but also how to work with people and the clientele that are facing right now environmental issues, climate change issue. I mean, most of the people are living in countries that have been or will be very much affected by climate change issues and so on. So aside from purely access to finance, there's also the issues on how we help the people to face this transition by providing them the necessary financial tools to do this type of work. So there are more and more actors that are getting of these global issues. And I think so opportunities for work are clearly in the field of financial analysts. In my team, I mean, I have a team of 12 people. I mean, mainly what they do, I mean, they do analyze the companies in which we're going to invest. And what is quite interesting is that we just don't analyze them in terms of purely financial capacity, but we look also at the social dimension of what they do. I mean, how they try to reach the people that are really unbanked, but also right now we are adding up all the issues of environmental issues. So we do a kind of triple analysis before deciding to invest in that field. But that's I would say purely the job of financial analysts. But we do have also kind of program officers to set up. We provide technical assistance to our partners to help them to improve their services, their performances, to help them to develop new products to reach more people on different ways and so on. So here it's not so much focusing on the financial analysis, but it's really on programming, how you help them to set up programs, to evaluate the programs, how you help them to design new programs so that they can develop a new product. For example, we have a specific program with the International Labour Organization and the Proparco, which is part of the French Development Bank agency, to develop microinsurance. So microinsurance is clearly something also very important because most of the people when they don't have access to any health insurance, there is no access to agri-insurance. So all these global issues, because behind the word of finance, there is not only providing insurance, giving the opportunity to get access and so on. So it's pretty broad in the of job you can get. We do have some specific rating agencies. So where you do have, you can do some raters, you can help to rate the company so that they can get access from organization like us. So it's mainly in, so you have different type of jobs. Either you want to have very practical job, and then you can get them, need to, except if you want to work for a company like ADI in France. Aside from that, you then in that case need to work abroad. Africa, Latin America, I mean, microfinance or financial inclusion is everywhere in the world. So either you can do it, then you can become, for example, head of a microfinance organization, head of SME, providing different type of services for the people. And you can have different, have a function of HR management, you can have functions. I mean, it's like, any type of company. And then the other point is that if you want to work in Europe, then you might have more, like as I was mentioning to you, as investment analyst. Either we do have some companies here in France. I mean, it was mentioned BNP. I mean, BNP, they do some work in that field as well. But you'd have very large investment companies that are based in Switzerland, Luxembourg, in Holland, in Belgium, and also in the States and so on. So again, you do have a lot of opportunity at the international if you want to work in that field. I think I had 5 minutes. I think it's more or less what I took, maybe a little bit more. But of course, if there are any questions or if I forgot something, Anastasia, feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Maybe if you can just develop a little bit on the type of case studies that you will teach in your in the course.
Yes, in the course, I'm mainly focusing on microfinance, how to so I mean, the course is basically to present what is the sectors, what are the needs, what are the issues behind, and then the focus is on how you do a type of company. And what is there is not only to analyze the financial elements in the company, but also the social dimensions, how you work, what is the different type of indicators you're going to look at. There are different tools that have been developed at the worldwide level. And I think also a little bit on environmental issues is something which is a little bit new. There is more and more things coming up, so we're going to try to update you on the subject. But clearly, I mean, you should be able to have all the key elements to analyze microfinance company, or and for example, typically when I'm recruiting, I always ask them to make a case studies where I present, and it's exactly the type of work that you will have to do in my course. So I don't say that you will be hide with me, but I mean, anyway, there will be clearly opportunity for you when you go and want to apply investment companies, the way to know how to analyze the different KPIs, what to take into account, what is the issues of governance. I mean, we really do analyze the company as a whole. I mean, it's not just the figures, but it's also the management, the team, the recruitment process, what is the audit, we work on a lot of different dimensions within the analysis, because they can have different type of structures, but I mean, analyze the company, and you try to figure out how you feel comfortable or not to invest into that.
Thank you very much, Philip. That's very perfect. It's a very complete answer. And we'll see if we have any questions. Meanwhile, I suggest that we continue with Van, who is my colleague at Montpellier Business School. And you will also cover the part by Olivia Blanchard, who unfortunately could not be here with us today because you are both teaching the same course. So the floor is yours, Van.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anastasia. So my name is Van Huang. I have been a professor in Montpellier Business School for 12 years now, and I have been teaching corporate finance, finance markets, and also sustainable finance. I am also a co-holder of the Society Sustainable Finance Chair with Anastasia. And so I will be very happy to teach a course with Olivia. So in this course, we will have two different parts. In the first part, we would like to prepare you to some professional certificate. The first one will be with the CFA Institute in ESG investing. And the second one is the one with the French Autorité des marchés financiers, or Authority of Financial Markets, specifically on sustainable finance. So the objective here is really to show you the main topics in sustainable finance, ESG investing, regulations, frameworks. And for that, we will go through different chapters in the content of each certificate. And also we will have a project in which we will learn how to put in place sustainable finance investment by using the Bloomberg terminal and also the software Python. So we will both prepare for the certificate, but also apply with a specific project. And in the part with Olivia Blanchard, she will indicate important regulation frameworks in France, in Europe, and in the world regarding sustainable finance. You may know now finance institutions, mostly in France and in Europe, have to comply with different regulations like the European taxonomy, the disclosure regulation, or the sustainable finance disclosure regulation. So these skills are now very required by finance institutions. And in the course of Olivia, she will prepare you to these regulations with concrete examples, exercises, so that you will be operational when you will be working within institutional financial institutions, both as a finance analyst, extra finance analyst, or even compliance officer. So these are knowledge and skills that are very important in sustainable finance now, and of course the preparation to the CFA ESG investing and the AMF sustainable finance certificate is a very good advantage in when you will be entering the sustainable finance field. Yeah, I think that is all for myself, and of course I will be teaching in the program, and of course I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Van. I don't know if you would like to develop maybe a little bit more about the AMF certificate, how the students can pass it, and so on and so forth. If you can give a little bit more information. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, so this is a new certificate from the French Authority of Financial Markets, specifically on sustainable finance. So there will be 5 different topics within this certificate: main notions in sustainable finance, knowledge in regulations, and through these 5 topics, we will have different content and also training tests, so that the candidates or students in this program will be prepared to pass the exam. And I don't know if I can tell it now, but we are preparing an application in within the chair, so Science Sustainable Finance chair, to be an exam center of the French Authority of Financial Markets. And we really hope, and we are very, we believe that we will be able to organize the exam in Montpellier Business School in the next summer, so for the students in this program. As for the CFA ESG investing, so there are 12 different chapters in which you will learn more about ESG metrics, ESG integration in the investing process, and also you will have the content, but also the training test, so that you will be prepared to pass the exam of the CFA ESG investing certificate.
Thank you very much, Van. That's very helpful information. So indeed, it was very complete too. I suggest that we go to Sebastian and then see if we have questions from the participants. The floor is yours, Sebastian.
Okay, thanks a lot. I don't know if you hear me correctly. I just put the helmet, so
Perfect.
you hear me correctly? Okay, great. So I am Sébastien Duchesne. I am currently an associate professor in economics at the University of Montpellier, and I am very happy to be invited to join the team to teach in this great new courses in sustainable finance. So I have worked a couple of years in banking, in the banking sector, mainly as an asset manager and as a corporate banker. And then I decided to move to the academic institution, and I made a PhD at the University Côte d'Azur at Nice in bounded rationality. And then I arrived at the University of Montpellier to work mainly in green finance, and we have built also some nice courses in green finance. And what else? My main research of interest at that time are yes, in green economics, green finance, trying to understand how people invest on the stock markets and how they try to finally to react to new regulations or to new environments, like for example the emission of carbon dioxide. And so this is my presentation, and what I'm going now to teach in this is ESG and financial analysis, and I will try first to talk about human social preferences. So in the first part, I will try to understand, to explain what drives investors toward green assets, and we will discuss the literature that try to investigate the motivation behind social and responsible investment. So what we call altruism or environmental preferences, and we will try to see finally what are these motivation. And mainly also we will try to understand what can be the drivers or the that could increase investment in social and responsible assets. Then from this part, we will jump to, we'll try to understand ESG metrics, to understand the methodologies of these metrics, to understand how professionals build these metrics, and we will try to see specific professional investors such as the Crédit Mutuel Asset Management methodology, or Mirova methodology, which is a subsidiary of Natixis, but also Isabelle Delattre, who is the head of the Responsible Finance Department, will join us to explain very quickly what she's doing at Crédit Mutuel. And we will also, I will try also to invite some other asset managers to explain the way they invest in green assets, maybe BPCE or Mirova, I hope. Then we will also talk in this course about the new risk-return environmental model that help investors to invest in financial markets. It will be very complementary to Van courses on Bloomberg, and we will talk about new optimization models. And we will conclude by the fact that there are some main limits in the current ESG evaluations, some main limits, and I am convinced that that's not enough at that time. And this is why I will detail in the last part of this course the new CARE model that has been proposed by Jacques Richard and Alexandre Rambaud, the new CARE model, which is proposing a new ecological accounting framework that integrates environmental issues in the accounting statement of the firms. So we will try to see how can now we can really integrate these environmental issues in finance, not just as extra financial analysis, but directly inside finance statements. And concerning jobs relative to this course, I think that this is perfectly suited for asset management companies. As I have worked in asset management companies, I think that there are some need for green skills to invest on the stock market, but also with brokers that are now increasing their teams of responsible finance, also in banks, but also in a lot of international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, the European Central Bank, the World Bank, the European Investment Bank. So there are a lot of international institutions that try to recruit green skills at that time. But also with the data providers, also such as Bloomberg. And finally, I would conclude by the fact that, in my opinion, this formation, these courses are come at the best time now to integrate new jobs, to form new jobs, to build new jobs. And I think that at the end of this formation, the students will be able maybe also to generate new jobs, not only jobs that are currently available at that time in green finance. But I've discussed just a couple of days ago with some bankers, and these bankers told me that they need to get some people that rebuild finance, and therefore that produce new jobs to integrate environmental and responsible issues. That's all.
Thank you, Sebastian. That's a great conclusion for the presentation. So thanks a lot for the three of you for sharing with us your experience, your courses, the employment opportunities. So I completely agree with Sebastian that today working any job in finance requires also knowledge in sustainable or responsible finance aspects. These are the skills in these domains are more and more demanded. So this is exactly the purpose of this program, to train the new young people to have these skills. So thanks a lot everyone again for your participation. In case you need any further information about the program, please don't hesitate to contact me directly. Or if you have questions concerning the application process, you can also contact our application department at Montpellier Business School. So let's see if we have any questions from the participants. Okay, so I think we have no questions. Then I suggest that we can stop the recording.